Hey, what's happening guys? Mark back in the workshop on Mark's Aquatics. Right, we're going to be breeding Diamond Tetras on this little video. Now I've set the tank up in front of you. This is a new little tank which I've bought because I'm running out of room as we speak, because I'm breeding so many things for you guys to have a look at. But I love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a go. We're going to breed these little guys. I bred these many years ago. They're not super hard to breed, but the thing with Diamond Tetras is finding compatible pairs. Now that's going to be your problem, you see. Now when you go looking for them in the shops, guys, make sure they are around the same size. You don't want one big male and one little female, because they're not going to be compatible to breed, okay? Now I found that nice big male, but he's a little bit too big for the ones that I've got, the females that I've got. Now looking before and around in my tank, I've noticed that this little guy was pairing up with one of the other ones. So we've got a smaller male and we've got a couple of females which were around the similar sort of size to him. So we're going to be trying these. Now before you breed these guys, you've got to split them up. So if you've got to get a separate tank ready like I've done here. I'll go through all that in a minute with you. But first of all, you've got to separate them. Now this is a 5-gallon tank, okay? You want about a 5 to 10-gallon tank to breed these guys. They need a little bit more room, okay? Because they're a bigger fish. And as you can see, I've just taken a spawning mop, cycle sponge filter, heater and a few big turkey oak leaves in the bottom there, and we're going to soften that water. Okay, now the water that you're looking at is the tank water from my bench tank, which they're used to being in, okay, which is a pH of around 7 to 7.2. temperature is at 26 degrees in there, okay. That's what we're running on there. We've got about, I don't know, it's about 60 kh carbonate hardness, okay, sorry, general sort of hardness in that kind of water, okay, in the bench tank. Now what we've got to do in here, we've got to lower that pH. Now I'm not going to use compost or peat and stuff in this tank. I'm going to use just rainwater. Now I'll go outside and I'll show you how I get my rainwater in a little bit. But first of all, I've got half that tank water, okay, which is already there. Those turkey oak leaves are going to slowly make that water slightly acidic anyway, as they sort of soften up and rot down and release the tannins in them into the water. And then, like I said, we've got that cycled sponge filter. Now if you've got your main tank as well, buy yourself a sponge filter maybe a month before you start breeding. And if you're going to get into breeding, buy a couple if you like, and just put them inside your main tank and let them run in there. So you've always got little cycled sponge filters that you can unsucker from your tank. Take one out, squeeze it out, clean it out, put it in one of these tanks, and you've got a fully cycled filter ready to rock and roll, okay, and to help out. It's always better to do that with these bigger fish. The spawning mop is just a nylon spawning mop, which you've seen me make there on the, I think it was the rainbow, the dwarf rainbow video. We made a spawning mop on there. Go back and have a look at that. It shows you how to make them. Very simple to make, and it's made quite a big heap there for them to go in. Now he's, obviously I've just taken him out, put him in. He's got to be on his own, okay? You've got to condition them up separately. He'll miss her and she will get full of eggs when you're feeding her up 2 weeks, sort of like 10 days to 2 weeks sort of prior to putting her in with him, okay? So she'll fill up with eggs. Take all the males out. I've just got males in the bench tank now, sorry, females in the bench tank now, and then we're going to transfer one of those over. But first of all, what we've got to do is we've got to go outside. I'll take you guys outside now and I'll show you how I get my rainwater, okay? Right, there you go guys, we're outside, and as you can see there, I've got one of my big koi vats there, which I treat my koi in sometimes. This one I don't treat. I've got 2 of these. I treat in one. This one's never been used, so it's never had anything in it apart from the rainwater. I leave it out here and it just fills up with rain, and then we get some lovely rainwater in there. And what I do is I just jug it out of there and I strain it then through one of my very fine mesh nets, or a bit of curtain mesh or something like that, to take all those little bits out. And then what we do is we leave it in there, let it get to room temperature, and then we can slowly add that to the tank and build it up and drop those levels down. Ooh, it's freezing out here. Let's get back inside. Oh, that's a bit warmer in here. Right, that's a bit warmer. Back inside. Right, this little guy hasn't even moved. Right, as you can see now, that's just about ticking over that filter. Just a little bit of bubble coming through it. Don't want to have too much of a flow in there for these guys when you're trying to breed them. But as we are at the moment, we've got half tank water, and we're going to put half of that rainwater now, which I've just put. I've had a normal heater in, fish tank heater, and I'm going to start tipping some more of this water into this tank, okay, because it's warmed up a bit. Sorry guy, you go and hide in your spawning mop. There you go. And we can add some of this water in then. And now we're adding some beautiful, freshly warmed up rainwater. And that's got a pH of about 5.2. So that's going to dilute that down, okay? And that's going to soften that water up. Because as your rainwater, don't forget guys, as it works in nature, your water then evaporates off of the land and everything else, and it goes up into your clouds, and it leaves all those little minerals behind. No minerals go up into the clouds. Everything stays on the ground or in the water, everything around it, okay? So when it goes up, it's literally distills, okay, into the air. And it goes up and forms the clouds and then falls back as completely pure rain with no minerals in, hardly whatsoever, okay? But as it's coming back down through the atmosphere and coming back down through to the ground again, it starts to pick up waste, pollutants and things which are in the air, okay? So if you're living around a city where you've got a lot of smog and stuff like that, it's not going to be as clean as if you lived in a mountain sort of place or around in the countryside somewhere, where you're not going to get that many pollutants, okay, and fumes and things, because it starts to remineralize with rubbish as it falls through the air before it touches the ground. And where it gets remineralized is where it hits the ground and it goes through the ground, okay? It goes through the actual rocks, all the different rocks, different types of rocks, wherever it's from, okay? And then it comes up through the streams, back up through, washes down into these streams, and that's where it's remineralized from that surrounding area. This is how your pH in different areas have different values because of the different minerals. Some are limestone regions, some are, granite regions, some are sandstone regions, and all these different sands and stones have different properties, different mineral properties, okay? So that's what remineralizes that water with what's actually surround it as it comes through. So that's why you get different pHs around the country, in the UK and everywhere in the world, you see. So you got all those pollutants in there as well. That's why when you're trying to get that rainwater, you're trying to get it as pure as you can. And make sure you catch it in a plastic bucket. Don't catch it in a metal tub or a stone tub or anything like that, because that's just going to remineralize it again, and that's what you don't want, okay? You don't want to be doing that. You want it just out of that plastic, nice plastic big tub. Get it out of there as quick as possible. Warm it up, put it in your tank, okay? And now, do you get what I'm talking about? If you're not, just chuck me a question in the comments below. I'll help you out as much as I can, okay? Anyway, I'll fill this up, then I'll get back to you. Right, there you go. We're all full up. Now if you look at the small air bubbles in the water there, just coming around in that current, you can see that we've got a nice little flow going in there. That's all you want, is a nice steady little flow, nothing too strong, because we can, when those little fry hatch, just like on the rainbow video, you can back that filter off and then keep it running slower so it just doesn't blow all your fry around, okay, in the tank, because they need quite still water to feed, because they're not very strong swimmers when they first hatch, you see. He's hiding under his leaf down there. And when you split them up like this, obviously they miss each other, so as soon as you put one back in the tank with the other one, he'll come whizzing out, he'll come out displaying, and she'll be ready. The spawning mop's ready, everything's ready, temperature's right. I'm going to get this water up to about 27 degrees. And where she's from is a little bit lower, so that increment or two of temperature rise should kick her into spawn. She'll see him, love is in the air, Barry White music goes on, and hopefully we'll have some eggs from these guys as well, okay? Haven't bred these for a while. They can be finicky, but like I say, I'm holding my fingers crossed, because they are of a similar size, but like I said earlier, breeding Diamond Tetras is hard sometimes, just to find those compatible pairs to breed. It might have to take, 10 goes before you do it. But you know me, I'll do it for you. I'll make sure we get them out. We could be lucky first time round. These two look pretty good that I've got. I've got two females and this guy that are very similar in size. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait for a little bit, let this water pick up a little bit more temperature. She's been in the tank now. I've been feeding these guys up for about 10 days now on bloodworms and all the different brine shrimps, mosquito larvae, glass worms you've seen on some of the other videos. I'm always feeding the old bench tank up, getting them ready, and we'll put her in, and then what we'll do is we'll come back first thing in the morning and we'll have a black tank, complete blackout like on the neons and the cardinals. First, not the cardinals, sorry, they're evening, in the morning with the neons, that first light spawn, okay? And then what we'll do is I'll cover the tank over like I normally do. You've seen me done before. And then what I'll do with this light is I can turn it on, but I can turn it on very, very low. And then as that light comes in and it gets brighter and brighter, that light coming in tends to get them to spawn. And these little Zenziel lights that I've got, I'll show you it in a bit, but they are, in fact, if I go up, I'll just jack the old tripod up a bit. You can see that little Zenziel light up there. You see, that's one of the ones we've got in the giveaway, which is in about 5 or maybe less than that subscribers time now, 500 subs away from 18,000, and that big box of stuff is going to be individually shared out between all you guys, okay, on a random picker. So that's the sort of light. I've got one of them to give away, so don't forget to enter that. That's the 18,000 giveaway video. I'll try and link that in the description for you if I remember. But there you go, coming back down onto that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to let it get up to speed now, and then I'll come back probably tomorrow morning and we'll have another go. We'll see if well, I don't think they're going to spawn straight away, but we'll see how they act together, okay? I might put both the females in there with him just to see how he gets on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to catch the two girls out. I'm going to put them in. I'm going to let you see them go in, and then we're going to shut the lights off, and then we're going to come back in the morning, okay? Right, so I've got number one. Here she goes. And here's number two. Now they're going to hide off, shoot off around the place, hiding amongst them spawning mops. That's the weight, they've all hidden away now. Now then, we're going to come back first thing in the morning after they've settled down. Well, good morning guys, we are back. It is first thing in the morning. I've got my towel over the tank and I'm going to remove it slowly now. And we're going to start off this increments in light to try and get these guys to spawn, okay? Now, take the old towel away quite carefully. And then I'm going to set this little light right down to low. Right, now that's right down low. Doesn't seem very bright at the moment. They're going to be a little bit spooky because it's first light. Looking for somewhere to hide. Hopefully they'll settle in though. In a few minutes time. That's the male there, right in front in the middle of the screen, and the female is the one facing you. There he goes, a little bit of display action going on there, which is lovely to see. And what I'm going to do is every sort of few minutes I'm going to click my light up one increment. Okay, that's just one click up. I think it's about 6 clicks to full power. Very, very skittish little fish, the Diamond Tetra. As you know, if you've got your aquariums, you'll always find they like to go in the dark, shaded areas, in the thick plants and stuff like that. So starting to get a little bit of action going on there. I hope you guys are enjoying these little videos that I'm doing. Like I say, it's just years of my experience, just putting it out there for you guys, because I've done all this before. It's not new to me, but I know it's new to a lot of you guys out there that are learning, coming into the hobby. And it's a fantastic little bank of information, hopefully, that I'm putting together for all of you to go back and have a look at if you do fancy breeding a certain species of tropical fish. At any time you can always go back and reflect on all these things and have a look at them. I'm not sure if there was a little spawn earlier on the top of the spawning mop, because I can see some little dots up there. I'm not sure if they're eggs, but it could be. You never know. I'll have to wait until I think they've stopped, keep my eye on them and see what's going on. Little fins of his are twitching away there. He's itching to breed, and maybe she's not ready yet. I've been feeding her up for quite a while though, but she looks a little bit thinner this morning, so maybe they've spawned earlier. I mean, tetras will spawn in the dark. If they've got a little bit of light, they will spawn sometimes even before you take the covers off. They've already done it. And I can see a few little dots around in there, so I'm not sure if they have or not. Okay guys, I've just put some bloodworm in there. Sorry, I rephrased that. I've put some brine shrimp in there, some live brine shrimp, adults. Trying to lure them into breeding. Still not sure if there's any eggs on that spawning mop on the left hand side. I've reduced the light down a bit again, and I'm going to try and raise it up again, because sometimes it gets a little bit too bright for these guys, and I may have gone too bright, so I've gone back down on the scale again, and it seems to have kicked off a little bit more activity. As you can see, there's a lot more display from him going on. Like I said guys, this is a long drawn out process with breeding fish, and if you're not of a patient nature, it's not going to be the thing for you. It really isn't. I get so many comments on in the section saying, you know, oh, what a waste of time and this, that and the other, and obviously it's not for those kind of people, you know. But I do understand there's lots of people out there that just click on buttons and watch for 5 minutes and chuck a thumbs down on it or whatever, just for the sheer hell of it. But these things don't worry me. If I can help one person out of all the billions of people in the world, it makes me a happy man. It really does. Because I remember when I was growing up and I didn't have the knowledge, and there wasn't the internet around then, guys. And as I've said before in my other videos, I had to go down to the old geezer down the road and ask his advice, who was keeping fish, or my mum was keeping fish. You know, all the books. And then that's what you believed. You believed those books, and you know, it worked for those people. They wrote the books on it. But even now, you know, through the years, I've practiced doing different methods with different species of fish, and found out methods that they said would never work, have worked. Maybe I should write a book. Who knows? It might come out. I may be publishing a book one day, guys, on how to breed tropical fish. You never know. Starting to hang around the spawning mop a little bit more. He's trying to push her over the top of it to scatter those eggs, you see. And the good thing about a thick spawning mop is, guys, they really do drift down in amongst the fronds, and they won't find them and get to them. So you can leave them in there for quite some time, and if they're carrying on spawning like this, I'll just let them carry on, and we'll get a few more out. As with all my videos. Oh, was that another little come together then? Wasn't sure, wasn't watching then. But like, yeah, you know, you just let them go until you feel that you've got enough. I don't want too many as usual, like the rainbow fish. Maybe 20 would be fine just to bring them on. You're going to lose some, might end up with about 10. When mortality rates and all that take their toll. And you get the disfigured ones as well and all that stuff. Yeah, still very interested. Oh, there you go, another little cloud there. They are super tiny eggs, they really are. It amazes me how when I get into these breeding videos again, not having done it for so many years, and it's amazing. If you see that little egg just floating down there, that little glistening egg just sinking away down the left hand side through the spawning mop. Now she's gone and hidden under that leaf, and they'll do this. She'll go down there because she's been pursued relentlessly by the male, and she's going to need to rest up, and he'll go and find her again like he's done and start courtship again, and that, when she's had a rest, they'll start and they'll go again. Another nice sort of release of eggs there, and again, fantastic stuff. Hopefully they'll come down the front in the spawning mop. and let a few go in the front here, which would be nice for you guys to see. But as in a lot of my videos, they tend to go in the back, in that little darker area by the heater. So that's a great place for them to lay the eggs, because they're going to drift right down deep into that spawning mop, out the way of them, so they're not going to eat them. You can see all the little twitching fins. Oh, there you go. It's fantastic stuff watching these, it really is. A new generation of little Diamond Tetras on the way. Oh, there you go. Another little flash together. And then she go a little bit quiet. And then they'll start again. But breeding these guys, like I just said earlier in the video, probably a couple of times, knowing me, it's getting compatible pairs with Diamond Tetras. That's the key. Get them the same age, around the same size, and you will have a good start. We'll see if they'll come down the front now. That's a lovely, nice clear picture for you to see. Go and have a nice little egg release in the front, please. Oh, there you go, perfect, absolutely spot on. Beautiful little egg release there. Just seen a couple drift down to the bottom, so that's another good egg release there. So hopefully we'll have quite a few out of these guys, which will be very interesting. Now, I say I haven't bred these for a long time. They're not super difficult to breed, but like I always say, make sure you've got those little microcultures on the go, that little infusoria culture. But when these guys hatch, this has all got to be done beforehand, don't forget. I know I keep stressing this, but it's so important. I get so many people come up and say, oh, my neons have bred, this is bred, this is spawned, this is spawned, and what do I feed them? And basically, all you can try then is liquid fry food, because you're going to have to wait 10 days for an infusoria culture to mature, so you can feed them. So it's you're going to be out of luck there for that breeding session. So make sure you get these little cultures on the go first, okay? And you've got a really nice little healthy population of them. You only need to feed them for the first week, and then you can move over to micro worms, baby brine shrimp as these fries, as the little fry grow. But it's that first little food. So many people lose their fry and get despondent with breeding because they can't get them through that first. They wake up and they've had a load of fry. A couple of days later they've been putting food in and they've got an empty tank, and they wonder why. And it's because basically the fry have all starved. There's nothing for them in there to eat, and the liquid fry food isn't suspended in the water, then it just drifts to the bottom and they just don't find it. But with the microcultures, looks like we might be going again. With the microcultures, they're alive, as I keep saying. Here we go. Nope. She's trying to get him in there now, look. Come on, you've been chasing her around for hours. And those little microcultures will stay alive in the water. They won't pollute your water up, and they'll be actively swimming in the water column, and that's where those little tiny fry will find them, and they'll put on some size quickly and get through that critical stage. A lot of you have been looking forward to this video. I hope you're enjoying it so far, and I'm not harping on too much. But I'm looking forward to seeing a nice little load of babies in a few days' time. Oh well guys, I think I'm going to pull these guys out of here now. I think we've had quite a few little releases now over the last sort of hour. So not big releases, but it can be deceptive sometimes. They go behind that spawning mop there, they could be producing a lot of eggs behind there, and I can't see them doing it. So it was nice that they showed you those couple of couplings together in the front there, so you can see them actually quickly come together and then split apart. Okay guys, I've removed the adults now from the tank, and now we'll have a little closer look and see if I can find you some little eggs to have a look at. I'm just going to have to zoom back a bit, and if we have a look around, they're quite transparent, these eggs. So let me have a look over this way. Ah, look at that, right in the middle of the screen there, you see? That little pearl there, right in the middle of the screen. In 36 hours, that'll hatch and become free swimming in 4 days. Let's see if we've got any more. I think the majority of them were laid at the back. Right up in that hole at the back there. I think they were dropping a lot in there. Oh, there's another one there. And it might be easier if I see it like that. If you look around the place, you can see a few little pearls up on the eggs. A few little pearly eggs there. Another one there. Another one down there. Sometimes you'll see them on the base as well. They did go down this way quite a bit as well, so anyway guys, I'm going to get back to you in 36 hours, and we should have some little tiny sticks with eyes stuck to the glass. Some little tiny little baby Diamond Tetras. There's a little egg there. Look, right up just off centre, left hand side centre there, just by the heater there, just in amongst that. And there's one above it as well. Look, I'll try and get that one right in the middle of the screen there. Look, try and zoom in on him. There he is. So we've got some more, so it's nice. We've got a few out in the front and hopefully a few down the back, so we'll have a nice little hatch hopefully in 36 hours. So I'll see you guys then.
Just me and my guitar.